You must be feeling that working in great organization require a lot of efforts. The organization needs to be rigorous, not ruthless. There is a difference in being rigorous and being ruthless. Great organizations were always rigorous. What do you mean by rigorous? Rigorous means to have great standards of performance for everyone, for the top level as well as for the bottom level of the person. And those standards are expected and followed by everyone. That is rigorous company. Ruthless company is it's not about feelings, especially in terms of troubled times when the organization is facing some problem, firing people, sacking people without a lot of consideration for their skills, ability. It is just reducing the cost by reducing the people. That is being ruthless. As I said, great organizations are rigorous, they are not ruthless. Take a case of Wells Fargo. They acquired one company in 1981 called as Crocker Bank. And when Crocker Bank was acquired, top management was very clear that it will be very difficult for us to accommodate the top people from the Crocker Bank, that is acquired people, because those people were from different kind of banking organization or banking culture, where the culture was really aristocratic. They were living in posh hotels, posh headquarters, eating food in a crockery which is worth $1 million. Everything was different culturally. Whereas the Wells Fargo managers, they were quite serious about cost cutting. They were living in reasonably good hotels, eating reasonably good food. So there was cultural difference in the two companies. So Wells Fargo company was well aware that it will be difficult for us to accommodate the top executives of Crocker Bank into the culture. And that's why on the first day, they told the people of Crocker Bank that it's not a merger of two equal companies. It's an acquisition. We have acquired your banks. We have acquired your branches. We have acquired your customers and accounts. We have not acquired employees. And on the first day, 1,600 people, especially top executive people, were told that there is no role for you in the company, that is Wells Fargo, and they were told to go home. You may feel that it's ruthless. It's not ruthless, it's rigorous, because they were very much aware that the abilities of most of the people or managers was average or below average as compared to the employees of Crocker Bank. And when they were comparing two managers, some of the managers from Wells Fargo, they said that these are the managers from our company, but they are not up to the mark. When they compared the managers from the acquired company, they told their own people also that there is no role for you in our company. So wherever the managers from Wells Fargo, they were extraordinary, they were adopted into the company. Wherever the managers from Crocker Bank were good, they were absorbed by the company. So it's not about our people or their people. It's about the abilities of people, the potential of the people. That is a rigorous organization. Managers were not suitable, culturally different, so they were told to leave the organization. Why? Because when you tell the weak people in the organization to stick, it's a burden on the people. It's a burden on good people, right people, to accommodate the weaknesses of these people. So why to increase the burden on right people in the organization? Because you have some weak people in the organization. And rather than beating around the bush, spending months with the weak people, try to giving them chance to delay the process, and after 5-6 months telling them to go. It is ruthless. But on the first day, if you are telling them in a very straightforward manner that we don't have a role for you in the organization, it is rigorous. So that's why I said there is a difference between being ruthless and being rigorous. Being straightforward is always good, because the people who are told on the first day that there is no role for you in the new organization, you are not eating their time. They can contribute their time to their own development, they can look for new employees, they can look for a better place where they can implement their skills, where they are culturally fit. But if you tell them to wait for 5-6 months, there is a period of uncertainty, and in uncertainty, no one performs well, and then telling them to go, that is ruthless. And when it comes to the rigorousness always starts at the top of the organization. Then it percolates to the lower level. So all these great organizations implemented a culture of rigorousness first for the top management and then at the lower management. Rigor is good. It is always bad, even for the great companies, to see that hundreds of people were losing job in the acquired company, that is Crocker Bank. But at that time, if you compare with other companies, there were job losses of lakhs of people. And in great companies, if you see that layoff happened only once or twice. Out of 6 companies out of 11 shortlisted companies in this book, there was no layoff at all. But if you see the comparison companies or good companies, there were frequent layoffs in those companies. The thing is that when there are frequent turnover, frequent layoffs, there is always an environment of uncertainty. People always feel uncomfortable, uncertain in such kind of organizations. And these kind of organizations can never become great organizations. They can become good organizations, but they cannot become great organizations. So great companies, they are always rigorous in their approach. How to be rigorous as a company? That's the next question for you and me, is how to be rigorous company. There are 3 different methods which have been told in this book. The first method is when in doubt, do not hire. I said, when in doubt, do not hire. Keep looking for good people. Keep looking for good people. Packard Law says that no company can grow continuously if they don't have right kind of people. The other way of saying is that the growth in terms of revenues cannot be more than the growth of number of right people in the company. This equation is understood by the great companies, and that's the reason behind their success. When it was asked to one of the CEO of this great company, Allen Circuit City, what's the reason, or to whom you will write to ascertain this success? They said there are 5 factors for this success. The first factor is people, the second factor is people, the third factor is people, fourth factor is people, and 5 factor is people. Because people, that's the controlling device of the growth of the company. The growth is controlled by people in the company. It is not because of your competitors. It is not because of your customers, not because of your markets, not because of your technology. The growth is dependent on the people. So the question is how you get the right people and how you keep enough right people in the organization. And that's what the secret of greatness of the company is. If you compare 2 companies, as I said, Allen as a CEO of Circuit City and Cooper, a competitor company, who was a CEO of Silo, as I said, a competitor company in the distribution. What is the difference between the 2 companies? First of all, Allen spent most of his time in looking for right people, right from the lower level or operational up to drivers to top management. How I can recruit great people in my organization. The second thing was most professional management team, best in the industry, and most professional management team was employed as top management. That was the second best quality of Circuit City. They employed on getting the right people, as I said, from top to bottom. When it comes to competitor company, Silo, what they did, first of all, they spent a lot of time on focusing where I can go for stores. What will the location of the stores? I should focus more and more profits, growth, profits, growth. That was the focus point of Silo rather than people. The orientation of Silo was first grow as much as possible, go on recruiting the people, but growth is important, not the intelligent or right kind of resources. So when on one side Circuit City was growing like anything because they have right kind of people in the organization, Silo was struggling with deliveries. There were a lot of complaints regarding defective products, regarding damaged product from the Silo, whereas Circuit City was doing extraordinarily well. Circuit City, they train their drivers like a delivery boy as a professional. They told their drivers that you are a delivery boy of this company. You are ambassador. You are a professional who represent our company to the customer. So they train the people so that they should be in good dresses. They should be polite, humble when they are talking to the consumer. They are always well groomed and well polished like any professional. So there are always comments and feedback from the customers that your people are really different, your people are really good. So on one hand, where Silo was struggling with the deliveries, they were growing like anything, but that growth was, I'll say, nullified by not having great people. Whereas Willow focused on right kind of people, hired right kind of people, and then they trained them, and then the organization grows. So what is important, growth or people? It is basically people. If you don't have great people, in spite of having great strategy, strategy will not work. You cannot have great strategy with wrong people. So in case of both the organization, basic strategy, organization strategy was similar. The only difference was kind of people they employed. And you see the result. One company remained good while the other companies, that is Circuit City, become great. So same strategy, different people, different results. The second practical discipline about how to be rigorous is when you feel that you need to make people change, act. Again, I repeat, the second discipline is when you know you need to make people change, act. What do you mean by act? Act means to tell them that there is no seat for them in the bus. Good people, like they should be always recruited. When you feel that this person needs to be managed tightly, make sure that you have made a mistake in hiring, because good people are not required to manage. Forget about strictly manage. They are so passionate that they will work on their own. So once you feel that this person needs to be managed very tightly, your hiring decision is probably not so good. Not so good. So something more about it is when you recruit wrong people or when there are wrong people in the bus, what you do? Basically, you wait that the situation will improve. You give him a lot of time. You give yourself a lot of time. Give them third chance, fourth chance, chances of improvement to the people. But what is the output? The output is situations generally do not improve. You make a lot of temporary adjustment. You tell right people in the organization that this person is a little bit weak, please help him or do this work for him. So you make a lot of adjustment. When you return home, you continuously think about those wrong people or weak people in the organization, or you continuously talk with your spouse that today this thing happened, this person was not so good in his performance. So a lot of energy is focused on the wrong person. Instead of that, the same energy is required to be given on the right people. How right people can be trained more, how right people can develop more, how right people can be sustained more, how they can be more efficient. So instead of focusing your energy on right people, you start to focus it on wrong people. Great companies never do this thing. Great companies never do this thing. They always focus their energy on the right kind of people. Uh, when it comes to right people, actually, holding wrong people in the organization is more problematic for the right people, because you tell the right people that this person is a little bit weak, please pay attention to him. So when they feel that they are carrying the burden of wrong people in the organization, weak people in the organization, they are supposed to work more, contribute more, still they are getting same kind of compensation, and the weak person is getting the same kind of compensation, they may get frustrated and they may leave the organization, which is bad for the organization first of all. And holding or waiting for a long time is even bad for the weak people. Why? Because in that waiting period, there is a period of uncertainty. You give them a lot of chances, so they are not fully assured about their job, what they are doing, how they are doing. So they are always uncertain. And after a particular period of time, if you tell them that there is no seat for you in our bus, you are stealing precious time from their life. The same time they can utilize for looking better job, looking for better organization, looking for culturally fit organization. So because of waiting, actually you are stealing very precious time from that person as well. So whenever you feel that the person needs to change, act immediately. Good companies, it was a review taken of some great companies, and it was found that there is a particular pattern in great companies. The pattern is, when the top management joins great companies, either they stick to the company for a long time or they leave the bus immediately. That was the pattern. So it is clear that great companies do not churn more people, but they churn better people. They churn better. There is no frequent layoff, but they are sure that what kind of people they want and what kind of people are not desired. Great companies, there is one tendency that they make A+ hiring decisions, that is great hiring decisions, after a long time, after long thinking. And after such kind of decision, if they feel that the selection is right, then they try to stick that person, or they try to keep that person in the organization for a long time. And if they feel that the selection is wrong, the decision is wrong, immediately they act and tell the person that there is no scope for him in the organization. Great leaders, they are not very fast in taking decisions about hiring. They take the decisions at their own time. If you remember, the CEO of Gillette, Coleman, when he became the CEO, the organization was in little bit troubles, but he didn't make a rampant decisions that so many people should be reduced, we should reduce the excess people. His idea, his focus was very simple. Almost 50% of his first years he spent only in roaming in the office to see which are the good people and which are not the suitable people. And after 2 years, around 38 people out of 50 top management people, around 38 people were told that there is no place for you in the organization. 2 years were taken. Considerable thought was given whether the person is good or bad. So, Coleman Mockler says that every minute which is spent on a decision of hiring the right kind of person saves your weeks in the future. Because if it is a wrong decision, you will be spending weeks in repairing of that decision. So how to identify whether your hiring decision is correct or wrong? Ask two questions to yourself. Hypothetical question. Suppose that the interview is going on and the same person comes to you for an interview, whether you will rehire that person or not. If you feel that you will rehire that person, your decision is correct. Second question, hypothetical question. If any person comes to you and tells that I am looking for some better prospect in some other organization, I am leaving your company, what do you feel? You feel very happy. Wow, this person is finally leaving. Or you really feel stressful that you are losing one precious employee. What is your feeling at that time? If you feel stressed, then the hiring decision regarding that person is right. So this was the second discipline about rigorous. When you know you need to make people change, act. Third practical discipline about how to be rigorous, how to be a rigorous company is put your best people, put your best people on your best opportunities, not on the biggest problem. Let's take one example of R.G. Reynolds and Philip Morris in 1960s. These are the two companies which are US based and who are into making of cigarettes. And most of their business in 1960s was coming from domestic area. The approach of Philip Morris is very simple, that if we want to expand, we should reach out to the consumers, we should reach out to the customers in the international market. Whereas the company R.J. Reynolds felt that if international clients from other countries, if they want our product, if they want cigarettes, they should call us. That was the difference in the philosophy. In Philip Morris, actually the international business or the business from other countries was just contributing to 1%, whereas 99% of the business was coming from domestic market. But at that time, Philip Morris CEO thought that if we want to grow, we should focus on this opportunity because our brand is great, it is Marlboro. Our brand is big, people will like it internationally. Let's give them this brand, let them enjoy this brand. This is a great opportunity for the company. But as I told you, this business, international business, was just making 1% of this entire business. So how to make strategy for this opportunity? That was the question. And he was thinking on it, and he selected his best executive, George Wiseman. George Wiseman was the best executive of the entire team, and he was almost taking care of 99% of the domestic business. CEO told George that, come on, be in charge of international business now. People in the company thought, oh, why he is giving the best person to the most neglected vertical, that is international business. Even George Wiseman thought that I am handling 99% of the business and boss is giving me a charge of 1% business, whether it's like outgoing or it's a sidewalking or it's a penalty, what kind of thing it is. But CEO was very firm on his decision that my best people, my best person, George, should work on the best opportunity. And what a great decision, what a genius decision it turned out after a particular period of time. If you see the history, after 20 years, international business of Philip Morris was the biggest business. What is George Wiseman's contribution? George, he was very polished, humble person. He visited entire Europe, he made a lot of tie-ups, he did negotiations with the company, he made tie-ups, he made the international business department one of the fastest growing and largest growing department of the company. And that's what the success is, from 1% to biggest and the largest department of the company. After that, Marlboro became world's favorite cigarette. And after 3 years of that, it becomes one of the top cigarette or the best cigarette in US. So internationally they became number 1, and then in US they become 1. That's why when you have your best people on the best opportunities, it is a way of making organization great. When you want to sell off your problems, do not sell off them to the best people. Because if your best people start to work on the problems, probably the problems will get resolved, the organization will feel better. But if the best people work on the best opportunities, there is high probability that you are working on the organization to make it great. And when it comes to good people, right people, best people, give them opportunities again and again, again and again. Give them opportunities. Because by giving them opportunities, you are empowering them. So you are making them stronger. And the other side of that, they also feel that they are getting more responsibilities in the organization. So there is higher probability, higher chances that they will stick to the organization. So always probably sell your best opportunities to the best people in the organization. And when you are giving opportunity, when you are giving chances, when you are protecting your best people, whenever there is change in the organization, you want to strategize something, you want to change something in the organization, these are the people, best people. They will support you in your decision. They will support you in the change that you want to bring out. So always give best opportunities to the best people. The other side of it that in Philip Morris, the CEO remembers that in Philip Morris, whenever there were discussions and meetings, there were a lot of aggressive discussions. Executives were facing eye to eye, brainstorming, fierceful discussion. But when at the end of the day, when it was told them that we are going to make decision, the decision would emerge out. And once the decision is taken, it was the responsibility of everyone in the meeting to support that decision. Your personal interests are always secondary. Company's interests are primary. And when you want to have a good team, what do you mean by good team? Good team is that when you are going to take decision, flow of ideas from all perspective, right, wrong, positive, negative, from all perspective, ideas will come. And when the decision is taken, everyone in this team support that decision, stand by that we are with you. That is probably the best team would make the great organization. You must be thinking that what would the life of these great people, these shortlisted people, label 5 leaders, which we have been discussing in the last chapter in the entire book, what was their personal life? They must be under a lot of pressure. Then you are wrong. Let's take one case of Mr. Coleman, who was a CEO of Gillette. His wife used to say that there are only 3 passions of this person. One is Gillette, second is family, and third is Howard. Gillette, yes, he used to give a lot of time for Gillette. He made the organization from good to great, profitability increased, everything. Gillette was passion for him. Gillette was passion for him. But the second passion was his family. He rarely worked on the weekends. He used to give dedicated time for the family. He used to spend a lot of time with the family, maybe repair of home, fixing the home problem, going to hardware shop, doing everything personally. He used to relax by working at home. He was the person who used to manage the work and personal life in very swift manner. And his third passion was Howard. He was one of the board members on the Harvard. He continuously used to go at the B school or the university, giving inputs to the students, giving input to the faculties. So how it was possible? Because when you are a CEO of such a big company, still you are contributing equally for your personal life. You are contributing to the field of education. How it was possible? The secret was his people. There were so many great people he has selected around him that it was not required for him to be in Gillette day in and day out. The people around him were so nice that everything was in automatic mode. They were so efficient, they were so passionate about their work that CEO hardly used to manage them tightly. Everything was going smoothly. And that's the secret of great organizations. In great organizations, people always make good teams. Respect for each other. Because if there is no respect for each other, how you can enjoy the work? And if you cannot enjoy the work, how you can make the organization great. It is respect for each other. It is love, friendliness for each other, commitment to the relation. That is what is important in building the team. So that's why even after retirement, all these great leaders used to visit the companies. They go on the benches with their friend, had tea or coffee or sometimes breakfast, they used to chit chat. So even after retirement, they continue to maintain that relations, and that relations are important. And you can establish that kind of relationship with the organization, with your colleagues, with your successors, when you love them, when you respect them, and same thing you get from them. So great organization becomes by great rigor, and great rigor is always supported by a great team.